By the way, Schiff is saying they're now going to move the hearings after Thanksgiving into the Judiciary Committee, where Jerry Nadler, who's always so great at this stuff, because this is why they took it away. It's supposed to be handled by his committee. Impeachment has always been handled by that committee. But why they put it in Adam Schiff's committees, because they thought Nadler was incompetent. Pelosi didn't trust him. Now they're still going to come back with more of this stuff because they can't believe. No, they're telling you go home at Thanksgiving and talk to your family about impeachment. Great advice. Great advice, Democrats. Thanks a lot. That's the Thanksgiving we all want. On CBS, they send one of their guys out to California. This is in California. And he makes a startling discovery that no one knew except everyone who's not in the press.
Now, one thing we asked the diners was their opinion of the impeachment saga. And almost to a person, Republicans, independents, and Democrats told us they're not quite sure where it's headed, but we're more interested in other issues that impact our everyday lives. Those folks in Bakersfield there at dinner even said they think this process is merely exposing the hypocrisy on both sides. Democrats did this, or Republicans did it to a Democrat years ago. Now it's Democrats doing it to a Republican president. Yeah. We'll see. But it doesn't come up in conversation unless you ask.
Oh, that's very interesting.
And when the candidates are out there campaigning, as you've seen, they don't bring it up often with voters.
Right, because the voters don't bring it up. They want to know about health care, education. What are you going to do for me?
So it's not a winning issue, it doesn't look like.
No.
And you're always traveling and covering the debates and whatnot. Were you surprised by anything that you heard?
That impeachment wasn't coming up.
Sherlock.
He was surprised. I just love it. He was surprised that impeachment wasn't coming out. What do we have to do to sell these devastating bombshells that are so explosive? They're explosive bombshells. Bombshells are explosive and devastating. And nobody cares. And they don't bring it up. If you don't ask them about it, they don't bring it up. CNN, same thing. They go to Philadelphia, one of the most left-wing cities, sit down with a Democrat voter, and they're talking to her.
Democrats sounding off in the city, one of the bluest parts of Pennsylvania, a state President Trump won by a slim margin in 2016.
Both the Republicans and Democrats need to get this behind them.
Even a strong cup of coffee can't shake Democrat Marta Lafferty from her impeachment fatigue.
I am tired. I really am. I am tired of it all. I really am. I didn't think I'd ever say that because I'm such a political animal.
Here's a real poll from Vanity Fair, okay? Because when they have these polls that 50% of Americans want the president removed, it's just nonsense because we already know that the Democrats are convinced, the Republicans have been uniquely unified that this is nonsense because it is nonsense. Vanity Fair talks to the people who haven't made up their mind, independents. Independents say that the impeachment issue is, quote, more important to politicians than it is to me, by a margin of 62% to 22%. Now, you can get 22% of Americans to say anything. The moon is made of green cheese. So that's virtually everybody thinks this is more important to politicians than it is to me. And, quote, more important to the media than it is to me, 61% to 23%, the same thing. It says it is hard, this Vanity Fair, very left-wing magazine, it is hard to read this as anything but a warning to the Democratic leadership and candidates. Stop talking about issues that matter to you, not to me. The New York Times, a former newspaper, now basically the anti-Trump headquarters of the crazy woke 25-year-olds who run the newsroom when Dean Baquet is bullied by them into doing what they want. New York Times says they voted Democratic. Now they support Trump. 2/3 of battleground state voters who chose Trump in 2016 but selected Democrats in the midterms say they'll return to the president next year. In other words, they voted for a Democrat during the midterms, but they're coming back to the president. Success in the midterms might not mean as much for Democratic presidential candidates as the party might think, which means, to further interpret it, it means that these Democrat Congress people in states that favor Trump are in danger if they vote for impeachment. Everything is tickety-boo, including the massive growth of the Daily Wire YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and catch all our future videos right here on YouTube.